check. Check it one, check it two. Oh, come on. Check. There it is. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you? I'm back home again. Or as Tom Kiefer would say, back home again. I'm back. So, how are you? I'm a little tired today. It was a long drive back from LA. Thanks to everybody who came out for the show last night. It was an adventure. It was a good time. Some new jokes, some requests, some good friends, and some weird strangers. First time I've had a show in a while where two tables started fighting amongst themselves. Two ladies, apparently. One table brought their stoner friend, and he was falling asleep before the show started. He fell asleep. He was like in and out, and then I'm like, yep, he's going. I was just keeping an eye on him, and then he out, just totally like, and like hoodie, hat, like that fucking dude. Bless his heart. I got no. Here's the thing: if my show relaxes you and you walk away rested and happy, I give a shit. It happened to Greg Giraldo during his special. It happens sometimes. You like dogs? Dogs. Yeah, I like dogs. Anyway, so apparently the guy's girlfriend was gone during the part where we addressed the fact that her boyfriend was sound asleep in public. And so like right at the beginning of my show. And she was just gone for that part. She was busy or something. And came back, and the lady at the next table referenced it. And like referenced her boyfriend. And the girl at the table thought like this lady who was old enough to be her boyfriend's mom was like trying to take her man. It was great. It was very Real Housewives. I haven't seen one of those in the wild in a long time. No, I didn't get a chance to whiff him. There wasn't a huge weed smell. It might have been just edibles these days. But yeah, it was a good time. But he like that, like it was getting like, you better not be looking at my man kind of a thing. And I was like, hey, ho, wait 1 second. Now I could probably turn this into material or whatever, and we could make this. I'm trying to talk about something else. So let's just turn the fact on. This is my fucking show. Don't start shit in a crowd, you losers. Fucking Burbank, man. Seat of violence. Portland, you're off the hook. But it was a good time. I hope people enjoyed it. Live streamed it. We will be live streaming the next one for our Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/HouseBarks. Think about joining today. It helps the show. It makes this happen. And you can also PayPal like that with the tip jar right there. You're like, hey, I like the cut of your jib, and I use PayPal. Here's $1. Or 5, or a dozen. So, yeah, Giraldo was fucking great, and I don't know. I gotta think that Giraldo was. I don't know what his cause of death was. It could have been anything, but I fear in many ways that he might have been one of these like fucking fentanyl wastes. You know what I mean? Like he's just used in something that he thought was sport drugs, and it was laced with that, and that's the worst thing about this shit. Like, you should be able to recover from being an addict. You should be able to survive it with most of your brain cells fucking intact. The biggest, you know, and this is why, by the way, we have classifications of drugs, that, you know, different schedules of drugs, because they're kind of based on how much you can use them before you're kind of gone. Thank you, Therese. You know what I mean? And I mean, the potheads get mad when I point this out, but pot has a terrible impact on any male with potential for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or any of those things. Like it can trigger something in the order of like 30% of the cases would not have happened had those folks not smoked pot. So again, is it natural? Yes. So is poison ivy, and so is salt water, but you can't drink a bunch of it and hydrate and think you're going to be fine. It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave. You know what I mean? Just please moderate, will ya? Tap the fucking brakes. It is amazing to me where people are like, it's natural, to the point where they're like, therefore my body can handle any amount of it all fucking day long. And it can't. Okay? Yes, some people use it, to moderate their symptoms, moderate, their illness, deal with pain, hunger with chemo. Great. Awesome. That's true of a lot of drugs, quite frankly. But I would say that's why there's a lot of uses directed stuff. Makes life better. Citation needed. I gotta say, my life is pretty fucking great. And not because it's magically great. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't born, I didn't have a Fred fucking Trump, growing up. I mean, on an emotional level, thank God I didn't. But I wasn't, born on third base like, I don't know, this motherfucker. Who, by the way, which our little conversation, why is the title still wrong on this? That's not right. I guess it isn't. It's right. Apparently, remember how Trump has this brilliant idea that how you've never smoked weed? No, and I'm not going to. Don't ask. It's okay. I honest to God, we have conversations about this all the time, and everybody gets all uptight and feels you feel judged, and don't worry about it. I don't do it. I'm not going to do it. I have no interest in doing it, but I don't sit there going tisk tisk. I worry about some people who overdo anything, okay? Right? A reasonable amount of concern as your fellow human does not mean that I'm like, yeah, definitely a fuck up, or whatever. And again, I think a lot of this has to do with salvaging thank you for the super chat. That if you ever decide this ain't for me, that you should be able to stop doing it. That's part of it. Almost anything you do that you can get involved in, or you do with your body and your time, it would be nice if you could only do so, overdosing on vitamins. Yeah, people can overdose on vitamin A. That's a great point. Believe me, go see a King's X show and ask Doug Pinnick if I've ever given him a hard time about weed. Other than thank you, Javier. The only thing I've probably ever done is I've worried about him before it was largely legal in places, driving around as one of my favorite black musicians of all time in shitty areas where they might use that as a weapon against him. That was my only concern. I do my smoking in the bedroom. That is absolutely true. Do you smoke after sex? I don't know. I never looked. So, anyways, the reason this kind of started up, it's kind of organic, but it also relates to this. This is so the last video we saw of Trump was him planning his fucking 250 party in Iowa. And now, guys, I don't even know why I'm worried about it. Okay? I don't even know why should I be concerned? He's going to end the scourge. So this word is pronounced scourge, by the way. Just saying. Of drug addiction in America. He's going to end the scourge. Now, we know he wants to end drug dealers by killing them, because apparently everybody who's ever sold you a fucking a joint randomly has 500 corpses in their wake. Whatever. Yeah, absolutely no distinction between types of... Yes. Then every liquor store is responsible for every drunk driving death. Then fuck you. Right? Okay. So, here we go. This is... Yeah, we talked about the 14th Amendment. He wants to getting rid of the anchor babies. If they're here illegally, claiming asylum, which would make them legal. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, why is he frozen? Because it does this all the time. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Ugh, it's been fentanyl.
You like to become a woman.
What?
And 3 decades. And I go to another 4 or 5 big guys, and I'll say, how about we will be undefeated for many, many...
Oh, by the way, This is he's in Iowa right now. I accidentally triggered this video and the fucking lights are out. Does anybody the background's fine. So they just don't have any fucking he didn't pay for any fucking lights? We'll get to that in a minute. I don't get it. This is so weird. Okay, I pushed, but here we go. We'll start on this one, then I'll show you that in a minute. It's so odd. I don't understand it at all. Okay, here we go. And this is it. So guys, NA, AA, pack it in. This dude's gonna solve it. Trump's got the whole thing wrapped. Here we go.
For 3 decades before my election.
For 3 decades before my election. I guess he means 2016, because he thinks he won 2020 as well, but he didn't. He fucking lost.
Drug overdose deaths increased every single year.
Yeah, as new and combined drugs, Captain. And by the way, you might want to go talk to the fucking Sacklers.
Under my leadership, we took the drug and fentanyl crisis head on, and we achieved the first reduction in overdose deaths in more than 30 years.
No, you didn't. The broad availability of Narcan did that. We reached a point where that drug and its ubiquity and availability all over the place saved enough lives to make that statistical shift. Meanwhile, fentanyl deaths go up. This is fucking stupid.
I also proudly signed the Support Act, the largest investment ever in combating the opioid epidemic. Sadly, under Joe...
The Support Act. It's almost like they didn't want you to know it was an anti-oxy bill.
Biden, our hard-won progress has been surrendered along with the surrender of our southern border.
It's a surrender. Everything's a surrender. Surrender. Mommy told me, yes, she told me, I'd meet girls like you and grab them by the pussy.
Such a shame.
It's such a shameful surrender.
Now fentanyl and other ultra-deadly poisons are...
Ultra-deadly poisons.
Pouring into our country unchecked.
Yeah. Nobody's even checking them to see if they're ultra-deadly. If you don't check, what, are they just going to send regular old-fashioned deadly drugs across the border?
Stealing more than 100,000 American lives every single year, and many people think that real number is 300,000 to 400,000.
No, they don't. No, they do not. They do. They know the number. We don't. What? Okay, think about. He says this shit all the time. He jacks these numbers up. This fucking drives me crazy. The border shit. He drives like, but it's probably 15 million. They don't know who's crossing the border. I'll tell you. You know what they do know? Who's getting a fucking autopsy? Who ends up? There's a police report filed. Who gets buried or cremated? They know exactly why, you dipshit. There are not coroners going, don't put that fentanyl death down. It fucks with my numbers. Like, no. And certainly not 3Xing it, you dipshit. No one thinks that. No one. What an asshole.
Joe Biden's record is one of death, destruction.
One of death. He kills. He's like Satan. He's like that girl in The Exorcist who totally, I would give her a 2. He just walks by the garden and he waves his hand and all the flowers wilt in time lapse.
And misery in communities all across our nation. When I'm back in the White House, I will
do something I didn't do the first time, which was pretend to give a shit.
Take action on day one to end this horrific plague and save American lives. Joe Biden will never solve the drug overdose crisis.
The overdose crisis. The drug overdose crisis. This crisis is overdoses.
Back in the White House, I will take action on day one to end this horrific plague and save American lives. Joe Biden will never solve the drug overdose crisis.
It's not to do with the overdose crisis or with the liquors and the drinks of the beverages.
Here I am like an idiot.
The overdose crisis is like the Overton window of overdoses.
Because he is actively destroying our border.
Is he? I thought you said he didn't go down there. How's he destroying? Has he been down there at the? He's not. He's not making your slat fence more porous, is he?
What he has done to our border, we had the safest border in the history of our country.
No, we had more cases of COVID than Mexico did. So people were like, look, I need a job, but fuck that.
And now we have the worst border probably anywhere in the world, including third world countries.
No, not even close. Not even. And by the way, even if that's true, it's obviously an improvement over the last description.
A ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth world country.
Yeah, exactly. So we're moving. We were as far as a ninth world country. Now we're getting better.
That's why I have previously announced I will impose a full naval embargo on the drug cartels and deploy military assets to inflict maximum damage on cartel operations.
Yes, we're going to bomb the interior of sovereign countries and sink boats with people on them that may or may not know there are drugs on board. You know, because we're pro-life.
I will insist on the full cooperation of neighboring governments.
Hold on. The full
military assets to inflict maximum damage on cartel operations. I will insist on the full cooperation of neighboring governments.
Neighboring. All right.
To dismantle the trafficking and smuggling networks in our region. And I will ask Congress to ensure that drug dealers, kingpins, and human traffickers receive the.
You don't mean D'Onofrio in the Daredevil series, do you? Because I love that fucking guy. I'm not one of these bad villain worshippers, so I prefer him on Law and Order. But
death penalty. At the same time, I will direct federal law enforcement here in the United States to take down the gangs and organized street crime.
Why didn't they think about that? Why didn't they think of that before? What? You mean we could have had like anti-gang task forces this entire time? Why hasn't anybody thought of this? Why? You guys are slacking. Audience, why are you not one of you thought this up in the decades that the drug war existed? Nobody's ever, no?
That distribute these deadly narcotics on a local level. They are killing our people. They are poisoning our beautiful children.
They're poisoning our beautiful children and some of the ugly ones, which I try to get as upset about, but I can't even fake it.
I will permanently designate fentanyl as a federally controlled substance, and
It is a federally controlled substance. What do you think? What kind of an asshole thinks like in 10 years they're gonna put this shit in the water? Fuck out of here.
I will tell China that if they do not clamp down on the export of fentanyl's chemical precursors.
Fentanyl's chemical precursors, some of which are made in Arizona and shipped to Mexico.
They will pay a steep price.
You will pay a terrible price. What? What, you're going to raise the price of all the beef, pork, corn, and soybeans you sell them? A little bit?
I had a deal worked out with President Xi. They weren't going to be sending any more, and they were.
Apparently not, because they never stopped. So maybe what chapter is it like? Is there a point in The Art of the Deal where you're flipping through and there's like chapter 7? You've been a sucker this whole time, motherfucker. I don't know anything about business, and you bought this book. See how it works? Consider this book a life lesson. The rest of the pages are empty. Oh shit.
We're going to impose the death penalty on those that made it in China. But
how? We're gonna bomb China? What the fuck? Yes, Joe Biden is bringing us to the brink of World War III. If you put me in office, I will just fucking call it. Let's just do this shit. Get me close to that button, and I'll just lift my gut and set it right on the button. That's right. Death by Filet-O-Fish. Splat.
With a rigged election that ended.
A rigged election that a lot of Republicans, some rhinos, some not, got their jobs back or even got in office for the first time, but me, somehow.
Attacking the supply of these deadly drugs will be just the beginning.
Well, yes, of course. That's what you start with. It's just, you get in, right after you have the plan for the year-long party where you're going to invite everybody to the United States for the 250th anniversary of freedom, you're going to carpet bomb opponents and allies alike. And that's just for starters, as Jackie Chan would say.
We must also do more to end the scourge of addiction.
Scourge, motherfucker. Fucking hell. I swear to God, like, I have all this shit, all the awful he's done, and I'm like, all the stacks of stuff you guys know I can rattle off about his record of just being a lifelong shitheel and a fuck up. And I'm gonna get, at some point, I'm gonna find myself like at one of these like charity golf things. I'm gonna turn around. This motherfucker's gonna be sitting in a chair, a wheelchair, or whatever, like 10 years from now, sitting over there, and like all that stuff's gonna back up, and the only thing I'm gonna be able to get out of my fucking mouth is scourge. It's pronounced scourge, you piece of shit. And then they're gonna shuffle me off. I'm like, wait, I want to bring up the fucking bank account in China. Stop it. This motherfucker. Like, nope, you get one shot. It had to be scourge.
Here at home. Among the most important steps we can take is to strengthen the pillars that give life, meaning, and hope for those struggling with addiction.
Oh yeah, so let's say, I don't know, let's take a, I don't know, can I think of a high-profile drug addict that's gotten through it that maybe you could champion? The fact that he definitely had a crack problem, he or she had a crack problem and got over it, used to led him to terrible things like smoking in the bathtub and taking selfies with his boxers rolled up in a denim jacket. I'm spitballing. You could champion the fact that some people have gotten over their drug addiction and bettered their lives. That would help. And then stop, criticizing, addicts for the behavior they did at the height of their addiction. Nobody gets off the hook entirely, obviously, but
Particular work, faith, and family. We need work, faith, and family.
We do. We need it. Work, faith, and family. Okay. This guy thinks changing diapers and feeding babies is woman's work. Never did any of it. Did everything to avoid holding his children, except Ivanka, I think, until they were, well, forever. I was about to say until they were, like, in school, but even then. Yeah, wheels and walls. That's right.
My administration will support measures to make it easier for those suffering from addiction to seek treatment without losing their jobs.
Yeah, we got that. We got that covered. That's a Democrat thing. Like, we're fine. Some people, by the way, may not be able to maintain their job while they're going through true treatment. As a matter of fact, if they were running parallel tracks, the other thing is, what are you going to do then? Give them welfare while they're on there? Try to get that past your own fucking people. This is just dumb. This is nonsense, by the way. I'm criticizing points of this and even the idea that he's expressing, but don't even think for a second that's actually going to fucking happen. There's no fucking way he puts forward some sort of like, we'll pay you to get off of drugs plan. We'll give your company a tax credit. None of that. That's not going to fucking happen. Ever.
We will forge new public-private partnerships for companies willing to provide job opportunities and skills training for former addicts.
Like Burisma? I'm just saying,
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
I'm just saying, Burisma allowed him to keep working while he was an addict, and he didn't lose any of his benefits after he quit the company and got off of drugs. Are you going to use that as the? I mean, we're going to do a pilot program starting in Ukraine. These people know what they're doing.
We will expand federal support for faith-based counseling.
Yes, we're going to do a little bit of church funding. We'll get some youth pastors and some young, impressionable teens, and you take a few nude selfies, one for the team.
Treatment and recovery programs, recognizing that we are going to need God's help to steer our country out of this crisis.
I'm just going to say, if you're talking about the same concept of God that I understand, and I'm not quite sure that you do, I think Trump views God as some sort of a middle manager under him. The God is not short on resources, and moments of faith and awareness don't come because of the size of the building or the length of the program. They're kind of, you know what I mean? Like, that's a post-temporal kind of thing. That's like Mike Lindell saying the election's on God's time. So Trump could be president again in a billion fucking years.
Finally, we will ensure that if a parent, child, spouse, or other relative needs to take time to care for a loved one fighting to overcome addiction, they are more easily able to take advantage of the family leave program. So important.
Okay. Either Junior's about to check himself in to rehab, or word's going to keep coming out about this shit, or he's the faith community is like, there's one way you could slip us some federal scratch and not get in any trouble, and we could round up some votes for you, is you get us some of that sweet federal money for faith-based addiction programs, because that's a never-ending problem. Then you know what I mean? Like, that prints new customers all the fucking time, right?
When I'm president, we will not
So none of this is going to happen.
Rest until we have ended the drug addiction crisis in America.
Well, you're going to need a lot of amphetamines. I will not rest until America's drug problem is over. So I'm going to need, first of all, a giant pile of blow. Let's be abundantly clear. I'm going to be gacked to the fucking bejesus belt on uppers for, I guess, ever. That's not at this point.
We will win. It will happen. We have to win, though, in 2024, because our country is going to hell.
Hell. The more you hell. Oh, it's so good. Good. I'm just enjoying the freeze frame. Now I know why they have the lights out in Iowa, though. He looks like the character on a wiggle stick. Oh, God. This is so lame. Yes, thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're approaching 51K. Come on, 51. This is just nonsense, by the way. Like I said, none of this is going to happen. He's not going to be president again. And even if by some lightning bolt he was, there's no follow through in any of this shit. The Freedom Caucus isn't going to spend another fucking dime on anything. He's like, of course, and they're certainly not going to. Most of them are like sitting around going, I mean, you can't save everybody, you know, and they're probably in a better place. Yeah, that's just magic. That's good stuff. Oh, God, hold on one second. I have to do this.
Here I am like an idiot.
There's just so much to this. You could do
when they gaze upon Yosemite. Michigan gave us Motang.
This is the face.
Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
They gave
I had to beat off dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes.
What?
They said, oh.
So, oh yeah, Motang, baby.
Michigan gave us Motang.
And this is kind of like, it's like he's a local businessman doing one of like a shitty local ad for hell. Because like, listen,
America, we will win. It will happen. We have to win though in 2024 because our country is going to hell. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. He does.
Win. It will happen. We have to win though in 2024 because our country is going to hell. Thank you.
Our country is going to hell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me. Every time you go outside and the world is sort of fine, it's because you're deluded and unculty. Oh, God. So good. Now, I don't know why, by the way, hi, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Amazon Prime, if you've got an Amazon Prime account, and you can subscribe on Twitch, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Not a dime. It's free. Once a month, you just do it. You have to re-up them, too, though. That's the thing about Twitch. It's not automatic. It doesn't roll over. Patreon, you can do monthly, or you can do in one fell swoop for the year. And then, of course, all these little things are up if you use any of these, like, payment services and that kind of stuff, and you're like, hey, that was funny. Here's $3. You made my day. Knock yourself out. It really helps the show. It keeps me on the air and helps us expand. We're getting there. We've got it. We're working towards that. We're almost at 51K. If we hit 100K, I swear to God, if we hit 250 at some point, I may be able to just close like Patreon altogether and just give the world free comedy forever. But right now we need, it's, you know, I've got a 6-cylinder engine, and if one of them gets gacked up, I'm fucked. Unlike these other fucking right-wing media machines like the Blaze. I don't have monitor envy like you think I do in that regard, but I do need 2 more. It's a thing. All right, we'll get there though eventually. And thank you guys for being here. If you can help. If you can't, don't worry about it and enjoy the show. And hopefully I will take some of the pressure off of your worry about this dipshit, because apparently some folks think that I don't know, some folks think this guy's intimidating and a force to be reckoned with and a thing. He's not a thing anymore. He is not a thing anymore. He was a thing for a while, that's certainly true, but so was Nixon. So was David Koresh. So was the Unabomber. So were parachute pants. Trump, I can comfortably say, in a geopolitical sense, was a human fad. And that's being nice. Thanks for becoming a member. Oh, right on. So, again, CSL, maybe you know, maybe you don't, maybe anybody else, is there, this is the only stream I think we could find of this, him in Iowa. I don't think this is just like the upload quality. I think the fucking lights are out. Now, we don't have to watch any or all of this shit because it's the same nonsense, you know, we've seen over and over again. But let's should we needle drop it and see what's up?
Somebody's terminally ill, and we couldn't get the drugs. They go to Asia, or if they're poor, they just go home and they die. They have no hope.
Oh, yeah, this is the right to try, right to experiment on you. Meanwhile, he does realize that the right to try thing is basically the legal predicate for the vaccines to get emergency use authorization, right? He does fucking know that, right? It's the same fucking, like, all of his people like, oh my God, the vaccines, they were untested and untried and they're trying on everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Same legal argument.
Hope, but they'd go to Europe. They go all over the world looking for some.
Anywhere but here. They'd go, oh, in America, I can't take those Those questionable drugs.
Something, and I signed a bill, very hard to get, actually very complicated, because the drug companies didn't want it, the labs didn't want it, the doctors didn't want it, because, they thought they had liability. I signed.
Because, they thought they had liability. So I signed a thing that they asked for that said they have no liability. And if you take this shit and you die, you were going to die anyway, so fuck you. And they were like, really? You'll do that? And I was like, sure, why not? You're gonna donate to my campaign, right? Not necessarily. You won't? Oh, you already signed it? Shit.
The non-liability clause, I got it approved, and everybody's happy. We've saved, with Right to Try, we've saved thousands and thousands of lives of people that are terminally ill. And people would say, well, we can't do that because they may die. I said, they're going to die anyway.
Well, it depends on the length of the treatment, obviously. It can have a terminal disease. It's one of those things like stage 4 cancer where you're on a ventilator already, and there's one thing that's different, where your family even has to make the decision for you because you may not even be conscious. And that's different than somebody who has what's effectively a terminal illness that is degenerative over time, and there might be experimental treatments, and your lifespan, if they get, you might be 5 years, and you're gonna, neurological issues, degenerative disease issues, and then you've got 5 years. You take this experimental shit to try that hasn't been cleared and hasn't been tested, and they don't quite know, and it fucking kills you. And then 3 years later, they came up with something that was actually a cure for it. Yeah, it matters, you dummy.
And yet they were in there for close to 60 years now trying to get that approved. And
these people were dying for 60 years.
I got it approved through Congress. I got it approved. You had to go through.
Yeah, so it was bipartisan legislation.
Congress on that one. And we're saving lives, tremendous numbers of lives. I'm very proud of that one, Right to Try. It sounds easy. You'd think it would be easy to get it approved, actually, but it was very, very tough. Gone for many, many years. I took care of the vets better.
Sounds quiet there. It's almost like, is he talking to an empty room?
Than anybody. We had a 92% approval rating, and now it's going way down, I understand.
Yeah, I don't suspect at any point he's going to go, there are thousands of people waiting outside. Look at all this. The camera won't even turn around and show who's not here. It sounds like he's in a fucking conference room with a dozen people in it in Urbandale, Iowa.
But we
listen to the applause in that room. Holy shit, that's small. 15 people. They just they set up that background at the hotel he's in. This is just staff.
We had a lot of bad people in the VA, and you weren't able to fire them because of civil service. And
oh, you motherfucker! He's going back to. He thinks nobody's watching because the lights are out, and he's going back to the VA Choice Act of 2014, claiming credit for being able to broom people who were holding on to VA jobs because of seniority. That's in the VA Choice Act. That was a Representative Rogers in Kentucky wrote that, and Obama signed it in 2014. They did a mild modification on it when he was in office, like it used to be, if you have to drive 45 minutes to get to get hospital care, to get a VA person, if you have to drive more than 45 minutes, you can pick somebody closer, half hour, 15 minutes away, whatever. They shortened it to 30 minutes. Almost materially no fucking difference for rural communities. The 30 to 45 window, there aren't even doctors inside, like non-emergency, non-VA. There aren't any of those people there fucking anyways. Like in Peaks Mill, we had to fucking drive. My mom is a nurse, which is why we had local medical support. But it was 45 minutes into town. There wasn't a fucking hospital or a doctor's office of any sort till you got there. It didn't make a goddamn lick of difference.
Various other reasons, and I got that taken care of, and we let go.
No, he didn't. Fucking hell. It's like an oldie but a goodie. Can we just go back to that one? VA Choice Act 2014. There it is. This is the bill he's talking about. The Veterans Access Choice and Accountability. That's the you can fire people. That's the accountability part. The choice being that the 45 minutes to 30-minute drive, if and then veterans access is to make sure that they have access to healthcare over there. This is what it did, and it was signed into law by Barack Hussein Obama in fucking 2014. He's lying to and about vets again. I don't know why veterans don't go, fuck you.
Of 9,000 really bad people. And I also, people were waiting in line for literally months. And some people were becoming terminally ill because they couldn't get something taken care of early. And I said...
Oh, okay. So I guess they broke from it and then they came back. It's a shame because it was such a good picture already.
We'll be doing a lot of things. We'll be energy independent in 6 months. We'll be able to do that in 6 months. Don't forget.
In 6 months. We're going to give people leases on land to explore and find new sources of oil. And all of them are going to be successful deep wells with unending supplies of oil, and we're going to have enough refineries to deal with it within 6 months. Just Jesus fucking Christ. All right. The video is so awful and it's the same shit over and over again. So we can jump around a bit if that's all right and go to, this was a special one. Can I? All right. I gotta take a moment. Can't Stop Lying. We love you. Everybody, big hand for Can't Stop Lying. So he has a difficult task. He gives me a selection of videos every day that we can pull from. And the reason I have him do it, besides the fact that I trust him, is that I don't want to look at stuff I haven't seen, right? Or I've already seen. I only want to do these videos with you live and watch them together, because I feel like it's kind of cheating to go watch a video all the way through and go, okay, this one's, I can really dunk on them on this one, and then ignore the other ones you've watched where they may have a decent point or whatever. And the idea is that you're basically shooting fish in a barrel on purpose, right? Now, to some degree, because of a lot of the people we cover at this point, it feels like that sometimes, even if I'm doing it completely off the cuff. But there, occasionally, something comes up where I'm like, the Lord is smiling down upon us and gives us a gift that says, that pats me on the head and says, good boy, Edmund, you deserve some extra fun. You deserve, the Lord appreciates your sense of humor. He appreciates the good work that you do, your long-suffering attitude in dealing with these dickheads, and the comfort that you bring to tens of thousands of people every single day, helping them let off steam and not worry too much, and make them recognize that the people that they see as their political opponents that have been built up into these like kind of overwhelming machines with so much money and so much control and so much push, those folks are not nearly as strong and powerful as you think they are, and you can kind of relax. And then when you relax, you have access to your best self. You know, when you're tense, you don't have all your mental capacity, your resources and all that stuff. When you're tense, when you're relaxed, you can call on every aspect of yourself. You have your best ideas come from it. You get in the flow zone. That's what I'm trying to do with this stuff. I'm trying to keep you guys politically in flow, where when this stuff pops up on the news and while everybody else is fucking white knuckling it, you can go, oh, I've seen this before. We dealt with this before. That's not, I can tell by the way they're talking, this is not the threat everybody says it is. Or this is serious, and there's a way to handle this. I'm going to call my representative instead of going vote one way or the other. I'm going to go, here's an idea, and this will work. And they'll go, oh shit, that's true. Thanks very much. That a boy can dream, can he? Okay. So, but occasionally the Lord just goes, you know what? It's been an exhausting couple of days, a lot of travel, and you got a lot on your plate this summer. And so occasionally we're just going to throw you a little nugget and say, enjoy yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Judge Jeanine Pirro making an appearance on Flashpoint with Lanny Walnuts and Gene the Jesus Machine. Now, as I've said before, the Flashpoint, the network, is the butt knuckle of the internet. It is absolutely the part of the taint that is hard to distinguish from the anus. It is so close to the hole that it hardly qualifies as skin. And I'm just gonna get grosser as I go. But like there's this whole like Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, and then Newsmax, and then OAN and RAV and Lindell Network and Flashpoint. That's what it is. So again, I don't even know if I'll care to do all 22 minutes of this shit, because God knows who needs it. But there's got to be some joy to be found here, because and it'll be hard to decide who's wearing the most makeup.
Hey, Flashpoint Army, are you looking?
No, I'm not letting you do an ad first, asshole. Nope. There you go.
Next week, June 8 and 9. Now, I said I would tell you about our next couple guests. Of course, we just added Judge.
I have a question. Why is Kenneth Copeland's head so fucking big and Skank Kuhneman so small? Somebody's mad. Or does Ken Copeland, did he take a picture next to you? These are actually, they were doing physical height pictures, and somehow Gene wants himself center stage. But Ken Copeland has a thing in his contract that says it's my goddamn network, therefore my head will be bigger than anyone's on the stage that's attached to a body. What the hell is that? What is that? He looks like Eric Stoltz in Mask.
Jeanine Pirro will join us.
Oh man, she's gonna be at the event. She was just added. Hey, Caviezel's gonna be there. Hey, great. So he'll like weep about adrenochrome, a substance that you can purchase online in bulk. The way they torture these children to get something you can get basically on Amazon.
On Friday, but new guest, just confirm, Jim Caviezel.
By the way, that's not the Duhhh we're used to. That's not. I'm guessing that's an AI version of Jeanine Pirro.
And Tim Ballard. Now, Jim Caviezel, obviously, from the movie The Passion of the Christ.
Right, which every, devout religious person was like, this is sacrilege, and so he overcompensated.
He's talking about his new film that's based on the life of Tim Ballard, Sound of Freedom. And listen, we were able to see a preview of it last week.
So good. It's so great.
It's an amazing film.
Amazing film about the thing.
He's going to talk about that.
He's going to talk about it, and we're going to see parts of it, and they're going to sell tickets to it at the thing where you'll see part of the
thing. A little bit more about mobilizing people like you and I, the Flashpoint Army, who we are.
The Flashpoint Army, yes. God's doughiest army.
And how we can, as conservatives, stand up, do it right, but don't back down. And that's what we're going to
stand up, do it right, and don't back down. I got to say that it sounds like a Billy Ray Cyrus song.
I do. So
stand up, do it right, and don't back down. You're gonna grab her by the hip bones and turn her around. You got stand up. Sorry, that was wrong. Excuse me, I have to go write that down because it's so stupid it might be a hit.
It's a star-studded cast. Listen, you want to be there June 8 and 9.
No, I really don't. I don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to show up at one of these things. God help me. But it's not because I want to. It's because I kind of feel like I have to.
Well, that's right. So Jim Caviezel is now confirmed. He will be there along with Tim.
Which is amazing because he's got so much going on.
Tim Ballard, who was with the Department of Homeland Security. So this is a big deal, Rick. We're bringing in these guys to talk about it. I don't know if you had a chance to meet with him or not, but it's a big thing we got.
It's a big thing we got. Say that again.
To talk about it. I don't know if you had a chance to meet with him or not, but it's a big thing we got.
It's a big thing we're got. Yes. Word make hard noise out of face.
No, I didn't even know, so I'm excited. I'm going to be back, fanboying back there with a selfie in the phone and everything, like I was last week with Michael Chandler, UFC fighter. So, senators, president, I don't care about all that, but Tim
Hollywood celebrities and UFC fighters, come on!
Ballard, Jim Caviezel, these guys are heroes, man. I mean, they are. Especially Caviezel. You think about being willing.
Yeah, Tim Ballard was the guy who actually did it. But you know who's really the hero? The guy who made the movie and played him.
To stand up in Hollywood, play Jesus Christ, and take on knowing that was going to.
What? In a Scorsese fucking film that Catholics castigated. What are you talking about? Tell me you have never seen the Last Temptation of Christ without ever saying okay.
Blackball you in that arena. What he did with Mel Gibson for Passion was.
Oh, I was right. Passion of the Christ. Tell me you've not seen you've not seen Passion of the Christ without telling me that.
Was incredible. And then this one to take on with this movie, the human trafficking and things that are happening out there. This guy's a hero, man. People.
Why? I mean, look, people who go after fucking. Hold on, let me show you. We'll look up Tim Ballard. Hold on one second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right. This is the Operation Underground Railroad, especially the environmental design and internet crimes thing. This is the thing. So this is Operation Underground Railroad Hour, which is the name of the movie too, I think. OUR. We exist to rescue children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. Cool. Awesome. Good for you. That's fantastic. Also, there are tons of organizations worldwide that do that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that all of them are doing it. What I will say, let's see, it is managed. He's working in the United States and in multiple foreign countries to infiltrate child trafficking organizations. That's really weird. That's the part. To infiltrate child trafficking organizations, successfully dismantle dozens of these organizations to rescue children from slavery and exploitation. While working for the government, Ballard saw how much more is needed in the fight against it. In 2013, he and a team of former government operatives left security of their careers to accomplish work of rescuing children in a private foundation. I appreciate that you're trying to cut off the thing to make it look like he's really standing there, but I can't read the thing when you do that. Operation Underground Railroad created a team that worked in any jurisdiction and in conjunction with law enforcement to rescue children directly as a private contractor for the government, because there's no money in that. That again, good for you. Cool. Now, let's see. UN child. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is the program. Okay, our response. Here we go. All right. The UN does. They have a big program. This track program. Worldwide, our work contributes to effective national, regional, and international anti-trafficking responses. This is they coordinate with nations and do all this kind of stuff. And there are field offices on it. This is the Office on Drugs and Crime. They have specific, here we go, quick links. Commission on, I think it might take me back to the same page I'm on right now. Illicit, drug abuse, illicit trafficking, or is it human trafficking? I think I'm actually on the page. So, anyways, they, there's dozens of these kind of organizations all over the world, and good, cool. But let's not think for a second that they're the only ones doing it, or that they're doing this because the deep state is trying to stop them because of adrenochrome.
Need to show up to the Flashpoint event and meet him.
You're going to stay with us Friday all day as well.
Gene? What?
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, that's Gene the Jesus Machine. That's Lanny Walnuts.
You know what I love, Gene, about this show?
when you're on and Hank is.
In this show, I have to wait till the live broadcast to find out who's going to be at the next Flashpoint. Well, it's always a stimulation for me.
I know. That's when I'm here to keep you awake.
I'm telling you.
It's a cute it's just adorable. This banter is why I tune in.
That's good. And Jim Caviezel, hey, by the way, get him, Gene, make a note, will you? Get him to recite for you the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic.
Wow.
I was in a...
Because he had to learn it for the movie. Cool.
Church with him, and he stood up and he said something so casually. He said, so bashfully almost. He said, he's a really beautiful man. He said, would you guys...
That's nice of you to say, Hank.
Guys like to hear how Jesus prayed? It's like...
Good Lord. No, why, absolutely, king of ego.
Yeah, he said, I'll give you the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic in the language that he would have spoken.
Wow.
But he wouldn't have said it because it was his dad.
And he proceeded to do the most eloquent and beautiful recitation of the Lord's Prayer. And
it was exactly with Jesus's accent. It was like, I mean, you think, Butler was great in the fucking Elvis movie. And the weird thing about Caviezel is he just couldn't stop, everywhere he went, it kept being Jesus for a little while, man. I'm going to talk like this forever.
The anointing just dropped on that church.
Wow.
Oh, I want to hear him do.
Oh, it must have been hard to clean up.
Do that.
That's a great idea, guys. Help me remember to ask him that. Judge, you need...
Yeah, help. We will. We'll send you. What do you want, a WhatsApp?
Hero, you've been living under a rock. She debuted her weekend program, Justice with Judge Janine, in 2011 on the Fox News Channel. It's another little station, probably somewhere else on your cable. And it remained top.
You're like, fuck you, Fox, but I can't say
top-rated
that.
program in its time slot for over a decade. She hosts.
Yes, because it was midday on a Saturday and news does terribly. It was the best show in its time slot on that network. You see how that works?
Currently the 5 highest rated program on that network. She resides in New York along with the 3 poodles. Get this, Lance, Stella, Red, and Ted. All right, Judge Janine, welcome to Flashpoint. Glad to have you here.
Oh, Lord. It's tie-dye guy. Also, look at no wonder she's a Trumpy. Look at all the curly Q fucking furniture.
Well, I want you to know I'm actually at home and Stella, Red, and Ted are here. So they may make a cameo. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be great.
Here.
You can actually say I'm in my PJs. I normally walk them this time of the day, but I wanted to talk to you guys, so they're shitting on the carpet.
Right. Yeah. I just got home from work, so I'm delighted to be with you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I got a lot of questions. We're going to talk about your book.
Here, first question is, do you not have a desk in your house?
In just a second coming out. But I want to know your take on what's happening with the whole fact that they're keeping Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the left is pushing him over to the side. He's polling better than even DeSantis is on some polls, depending on who you listen to. What is the left's?
Yeah, RFK would definitely beat DeSantis on the Republican side.
Scared of RFK?
I think the left is scared of everybody. And the fact that
No, I mean, again, people will question my lefty bona fides because I'm simply a liberal and a Democrat, and somehow, unless I'm for, demolishing, having a cultural revolution in the middle of the United States and burning the place to the ground again and going, we're all going to kumbaya this shit back together, right? If somebody knows how this stuff works. Apparently that, denies me those, but she would definitely consider me left, and I'm not afraid of any of these people. I don't think any of us are. As a matter of fact, I find them fairly amusing, and I don't often laugh at things that I'm afraid of.
Okay, with very little, kind of pomp and circumstance and all the other stuff that goes with the presidential announcement. The fact that he is able to garner 20% of the vote is really a testament to the fact that even the Democrats don't like Joe Biden. And
yeah, because that 20% of polling, those are definitely, Biden voters, regular Democrats, and not like Bernie bros who, won't vote for Marianne because they've got an incel twitch, or fakies who are saying, yeah, never mind. Yeah.
They will do anything they can to keep this guy hiding. I can't wait to see how the campaign is going to be run this.
Well, no. If we were doing everything we could to keep this guy hiding, he would be. I think you have to, after the passage of the infrastructure bill, you got to give us credit for being able to get shit done.
This time, they don't have an excuse for the basement campaign, at least so far. But what they've got is they've got a whole crew.
And by the way, somebody's asking what's wrong with her eyes. I would say it looked like she was wearing like ski goggles and a bill cap and stared into the sun. Is it just me, or does she look horribly sunburned from the cheeks down? What do you think? Like just wiped off her makeup from work and is reacting to the stuff?
Emissaries that they.
I need her. You think I need her filter? Is there something like yeah? Hold on. I don't think I have anything even close to that I could use. Yeah. I guess this is probably the closest. Does that look better? Go ahead, Janine. I was so scared. I don't know. Anyways, man, it's so nice to be on Flashpoint. I don't understand. It's terrible. Oh God. We both went to the same salon, and she got the external face peel, and I got the internal treatment, and it still burns. It still burns.
Say are going to be out there campaigning for Joe. I guess it's under the Clinton term that it takes a village. But I don't think America is really buying into that at all. And I think that the most important thing that people.
Nobody thinks that you win an election through the plurality of voting. That's absurd. What do they think we are? A fucking goddamn democracy or something?
People can learn from all of this is that Joe Biden, by using these emissaries, is proving that he doesn't have the physical vitality or the
physical vitality. Or he just might be busy doing president shit. And the fucking... It's not even the election year, stupid. The election is a year from November.
Mental acuity to run a campaign. And so he's relying on these.
By the way, Trump didn't have the mental acuity to, quote, run a campaign. That's why he had Paul Manafort run it for free. A man who would hire men off of Craigslist to sexually assault his physically and mentally disabled wife.
Emissaries. And I thought it was fascinating that he said today that a lot of the people on the Republican side are competent, which I found, incredible to hear from someone in the Democrat Party. So,
first of all, he does that all the time. That's the whole point of MAGA Republicans versus standard Republicans and people who actually have a conservative idea, somebody that you can disagree with, but you could at least have an argument with based on the merits, as opposed to these fucking whack jobs, quite frankly.
So I think Joe Biden will figure out some way to keep hiding in the basement.
Hiding in the basement? Asshole, he's in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
That I gotta say, that shit didn't even work in 2020. We were all in our fucking basements. It was COVID, you dipshit.
Okay, let me
stop for a second, because as a man of God, I have to call you out on your judgment and your bearing false witness. I'm just fucking with you. This is Flashpoint.
Let me ask you this. When you see the left and what they're doing, what is it that you think? Now, our audience, Judge, is mainly conservative Christians. We don't say we're fair.
Citation needed. I'm just going to go with cultish bigots.
In balance, we say we're the way to the right of center. We're unabashedly bold about who we are. What is it that...
No, you just got a big flashy set. It's Kenneth Copeland, because dude's got 2 airplanes.
Our audience needs...
Kenneth Copeland has more airplanes than Donald Trump does.
To know that you feel like most of America doesn't understand about this current situation.
Yeah, fill us in, because we don't really read.
Well, I think that, look, this country was founded on the Judeo-Christian ethics.
No, it wasn't. No. The founding fathers were deists. They believed in the majority of the Christian scriptures, but they obviously had issues with the Old Testament and other elements of the Abrahamic traditions. And of course, as deists, an open understanding of the greater pagan traditions, where they drew a lot of their more egalitarian ideas from, in terms of people worshiping whatever god they want. And it's directly, and I've mentioned this before, but it is why the First Amendment literally nullifies the first two commandments of the 10. And the second one, obviously, if you can keep and bear arms, you can kill. But freedom of speech and freedom of religion obviously says, fuck you to thou shalt have no other gods before me, and thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain.
When I was a judge in my courtroom above my bench, it said, "In God we trust." I think that America is
right, but using the generic term God, as in your oath has to mean something here. The idea is that there's a judgment beyond even what goes on earth, and you're hoping to bring people kind of level up to their highest ideas, and also or speak to your ethic in terms of how you judge from the bench, that you too shall be judged after this life. So that's what keeps you on the up and up in this. And that's got value in that point, except when you turn it into a fucking slogan, and it has about as much meaning as the third Striper record.
moving so far from that foundation. Right. That we are at a dangerous point, that every person who is a person of religion or a person of God,
a person of religion, a person of God, every person of religion. If you're a Branch Davidian or a follower of Some Young Moon, or if you started your own cult, obviously in your attic, not in the basement. They don't do basements.
Understands the
Satanists, very religious, lots of accoutrement. I will say, you can't call Satanists, at least in their active form, spiritualists at all. These are not people who say the universe when they're talking randomly about their spirituality, because they got a lot of outfits and fucking do you know how hard it is to keep cat fur off of a black robe? Tisk.
Inherent dangers of what is happening in America today. We are flirting with the kind of destiny that destroyed nations and fallen empires find them.
No, we're not. We are absolutely not. The Romans, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the fucking Iroquois Nation Treaty, the French aristocracy. None of that was brought down by AI or the potential for nuclear war. Most of them just ate off lead plates or picked the wrong team to back
themselves in. And so that's why I wrote the book Crimes Against America.
Okay, so she's on there selling the fucking book. That's what this is. This is congratulations, Judge. This is your dream book tour. Sitting in your PJs in your oddly darkened bedroom that is lemon. That's all I can say. It's like French and lemon. The whole thing is just
the left is doing to our children in schools and
teaching them to read and write and exercise and think critically. And it's terrible.
To Americans across the board, and especially to those believers, people who believe in God and are faith driven, it is destroying them. And we saw it with
how Jesus Christ. Do you think anybody all right, there's a hold on, there was a thing on Twitter. Let me see if I could find this real quick. It was there was a guy who wrote a thing about how, like, Christians feeling persecuted. And he was like, let's see. Yeah, here it is. This guy, Bonhoeffer's child, posted this. Let me see if I can bring this in. I'll show you. I read this the other day, and I was like, this sounds like something I kind of go on about, and some of you go, yes, we know. The guy standing here. Small rant. I've been overseas for a bit, where in a country where Christians are a very low single-digit percentage of the population, are actively persecuted both legally and socially, very often violently. I know this place well and used to live there. The same day the Target culture war nonsense went full blast with all the Basham, Lila Rose, Eva Braun brigade clutching their pearls and screaming that an expression of capitalism they didn't like was some kind of anti-Christian persecution. I was talking with parents here. Several recounted the rapes the women their clan had suffered merely because they were poor and Christian, which meant the authorities didn't care. Others told of homes being burnt and cattle killed, again because no one cares about them. These kinds of incidents aren't in the past. They happen constantly. I preached in villages where bloodstains from attacks on them were still fresh. I've attended the funerals of those killed by mobs. They know persecution. Suburban pearl-clutching America does not. Target selling something that someone doesn't like isn't persecution. It isn't grooming. If it is, then so is Sunday school. It isn't anything but capitalism doing what it does. Saying it's anything different makes the speaker look ignorant and fanatical. If a store selling a shirt for a minority you hate is what you consider persecution, you have a pathetically bad understanding of what persecution is. If you think it's grooming, you are equally stupid. Like it, don't like it, I don't care. But for God's sake, stop waging culture war while screaming everything I don't like is an attack and persecution. I promise you, you're not important enough to be attacked and persecuted. Neither am I, for that matter. When you make stupid performative statements like that, all you do is paint yourself as a narcissist and make a mockery of the real suffering others have gone through. American Christians wouldn't know persecution if it dropped on their head. Yeah. For that matter, they don't know grooming either. A youth pastor keeping a kid close on a ski trip is grooming. A pastor telling a congregant God told them that they'd be together is grooming. Selling clothes isn't. Redefining a word to suit your culture war won't fly. Stop it. Again, I don't care what anybody thinks about Target, pro or con, but your empty culture war cheapens the horrors that actually occur. Stop redefining reality to suit your stupid selfishness and preening assumption that the world must bow to you. Apologies for the grammar and dropped words. It's 2 a.m. where I was when I wrote it. Yes. To that, yes. Like the fucking people who are like, I don't know, they like, we get treated so badly. Our values are being destroyed. Like, no. Your values end at the end of your goddamn nose. You know who they're being destroyed by? You know who, like, truly, where the destruction of Christian values does occur genuinely in our society is by groups like Flashpoint, shows like Kenneth Copeland's, and Drek like she's pouring out of her fucking face right now. This, like, and the irony that these assholes are the ones that use, remember the term virtue signaling that they were constantly talking about? Remember that? Remember they were throwing virtue signaling all over the place? Anytime you try to explain to someone that you care about a minority that's being attacked, or a group of people that's being marginalized forcibly, for reasons they don't deserve, they would go, that's your virtue signaling. Or you put up the Ukraine flag, or you put up the pride flag, and that's virtue signaling. You're letting people know. And I would say it's ethics signaling. It might be, it certainly is a form of tribalism. But the idea that these assholes are above virtue signaling, when that Flashpoint, they only chose the name Flashpoint because it's more macho sounding than just calling it what it is, which is virtue signaling. This show is virtue signaling. All ministry shows online are virtue signaling. That's why people go. It's the hat you wear to church is a virtue signal, because you're saying, I take dressing up when I go to church this seriously.
Dobbs' decision.
Right.
When our own Department of Justice would not follow its own rules of making an arrest of anyone who is parading or protesting in front of a Supreme Court justice's home in the hope of getting them to change their opinion. Now, one of those people was arrested, but
they didn't step onto the property, and they did not threaten their lives. Unlike, I would say, the people at the Capitol who crossed multiple barriers and multiple thresholds and attacked people, and somehow you assholes rush to their defense all the time.
You can rest assured that everyone who was involved in any way, and some of them who were clearly innocent and found to be not guilty by juries later, who got involved in any kind of pro-choice objection, ended.
No. Any kind of pro-choice objection? No. You are welcome to be pro-choice and express your ideas as strongly as you want, as long as you don't step in front of someone when they're trying to go someplace, or put your hands on them, or harass them, or follow them home. Dox individuals, non-public figures, elected or selected representatives, and trespass on their property. I guess technically speaking, you could stand outside their fucking house until they file a case against you for harassment and win.
Up being arrested and ended up being prosecuted. But any of the pro-life centers.
By the way, I would like to say for the record, I'm enjoying this clip for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that, man, she's got shit internet. And to be a Fox host for that long with supposedly the highest rated show in that window, and to have shitty internet like that in her own house, like all the problems I have with my show occasionally, with our drop frames and whatnot, I would like to say I'm just going to high five myself on that one. I'm just going to do it.
The pregnancy centers, any of the attacks on them were not even, they were not even investigated. Right. And so when you look at
the pregnancy centers,
what is happening, the takedown of religion in America, it forebodes a very difficult future. And I want to throw one more thing in there, if you don't mind.
By the way, religion is not being taken down from the outside. It is being taken down from the inside.
And that is during the pandemic. There was a Supreme Court case, and you may know, I've been a prosecutor, a judge, and a DA for over 3 decades.
Yes, and now you do none of those things, and apparently everyone involved in the cases you were involved with is glad of that fact.
Ran for office 5 times. This is my wheelhouse. When a case went up to the Supreme Court, and the Calvary Church was a petitioner wanting to open its doors in Las Vegas, and the United States Supreme Court finally had the ability to hear that case. There were 3 petitioners, but it was originally the Calvary Church. The Supreme Court of the United States said during COVID, if you want to gamble in the casinos, have at it. You want to play that game of chance, go for it. If you want to go to a multiplex, Cineplex movie theater and see 18 at once, have at it. But if you want to go to the Calvary Church, only 50 of you will be allowed in that church at one time. I have to tell you, I almost...
No. At they were using the standard of social distancing, ventilation for the actual space, because the ventilation in a multiplex theater versus the Calvary fucking Church, which was probably built in 1965, is substandard second to that. And also, a casino is a large open space. This particular Calvary Church is not. And so they were minimizing. What the fuck? Have 50 people. You can't give 3 sermons a day to protect your fucking flock? Go flock yourself.
Fell over when I read that. I said, this is the Supreme Court of the United States. Was it something where they knew Dobbs was coming, so they were pulling back? There was absolutely no justification for that.
There was an absolute justification for it. It was standardized for groups gathering together, and that religion got no special treatment. It was about the availability, size of the space, and the safety based on the current CDC guidelines during a pandemic. Shut the fuck up.
No.
And I think that...
Yeah, plus theaters were closed. Casinos were closed.
People of faith need to worry about not just what's being taught in school.
No, they don't. Worry is the opposite of faith. You fucking putz. People of faith need to stop having so much faith and sweat more.
Schools in terms of transgender nonsense, but what is happening in our society today against religion.
All right. Your book, Crimes Against America, the left's take.
Crimes Against America, of which I would include the cover photo in which
down of our republic. I'm on in here on page 100. You said one of the first signs of growing criminal privilege in our system, a canary in the coal mine of our failing law and order system,
was the fact that Donald Trump for years admitted to sexual assault and was never held to account during. Oh no, it's not that.
Is the concept of cashless bail. Why is that? Why do you say that's the basis?
Well, look, bail is not something that is uncalled for, illegal, or inappropriate. It's ensconced in the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution. All of a sudden, these geniuses who think they understand law enforcement, who know nothing about law enforcement, who've never studied it, let alone lived in an area where they had any experience at all, they have decided that cashless bail is the way to go. And essentially what that means
for non-violent offenses, minor offenses, low misdemeanors, not murderers or sexual assaulters or people who use a weapon in the commission of a crime or any of that shit. Good Lord.
Is that the criminal is released before the cop finishes his or her paperwork. And it endangers a society. And it
No, it doesn't, because you don't do it with dangerous criminals. You do it with criminals who are, for minor altercations or questionable, like small petty crimes.
In a society where the first order of government is the protection of its people. But it's not just cashless bail where they say everybody gets to go out and as soon as they're arrested, if they're arrested in the first place. But what they're saying is you citizens, you victims.
By the way, in case you missed that was fuck the cops from Judge Janine. That the cops just aren't even arresting people. Like somebody gets raped or murdered or shot or there's any of that stuff. They just fucking don't even bother.
We're not taking your side. We're taking the criminal side. We don't care about you if you're a victim.
Well, no. First of all, at that point, it's not about the side because the person is innocent until proven guilty. The judge, in many cases, can make a determination about the severity of the crime and the classification of that crime that are filed with the DA in consultation with the DA. And if it's below a certain threshold, they don't have to post money to come back. They still have the trial date. If they don't show up, they still get a warrant. They'll still end up going to jail if they're found guilty. But they're not going to spend fucking if they don't have $500. And that might be why they were involved in a petty theft of fucking Skittles. Maybe, just maybe, that furthers that criminality. Maybe, you get me? All right.
Had a bad day, had a bad go at it. We got to take care of the criminal. And that.
No. Again, the person is innocent until proven guilty. If they were saying we got to take care of the criminal, what they would say is, this wouldn't be about cash bail. This would be about not giving any jail time or probation or supervised release or parole or any of that stuff to people at all. You just cut them loose. Open borders instead of, the open borders argument about jail. Nonsense.
Along with this social justice, no one has defined, has turned a society that believed in law and order into one of chaos and anarchy.
No. By the way, can I just say for the record, it should not be lost on anyone that this woman who lives in New York City with her 3 very special dogs, good for her, and works at Fox News and has for a decade, with her curly Q fucking furniture and her sort of, fancy schmancy, Real Housewives of Fox News lifestyle, thinks that the world is chaos and disorder because the only interaction she has with the real world is through a fucking television set where she can selectively turn this magic fucking window that sits in front of her into the view of her choice. And that's the dopamine hit of I'm right, the rest of the world. People are fucking gross. Let me watch a bunch of people being disgusting and that will convince me that the world is in shit. Meanwhile, I guarantee She and everybody at Fox, they're going to the fancy New York restaurants. They're going to their favorite coffee house. They're having their assistant run down in the middle of the day to pick up Starbucks for the fucking office. All the normal shit that goes on that they take totally for fucking granted. This goes in line with what that guy with Bonhoeffer's essay about Christian persecution. Same shit.
You know, I believe in redemption, but I don't think it's for, you know, these leftist, Marxist, socialist lawmakers to say, we're going to forgive all criminals and let them reoffend and reoffend and reoffend again.
Again, that's, first of all, there's definitely been a move with like really far left DAs in a couple of places. Obviously, they were able to lock in some in a couple of cities, but the guy who was in San Francisco, for example, he got kicked out of office for overdoing it because they were just refusing to prosecute and that kind of stuff. And the backlash when somebody does that, people forget that one of the reasons why the crime bill happened was the lead up to the crime bill was this shift in away from victims' rights to the perpetrators' rights. That maybe that prisons and jails should be places of rehabilitation and not incarceration, and that it's up to society to take this person who, you know, sexually assaulted a woman and beat her unconscious with a lead pipe and get him a degree in engineering while he's in there for a couple of years, because magically once he has a job, he'll stop having those urges because that was just, I don't know, a whim or some shit, which isn't the case in life at all. Criminals like you are, and I'm not criminals like you, but criminals, comma, like you are complete human beings. And there are people who experienced horrible abuse as a child and grew up to be horrible criminals, carrying out that behavior on other people. And then there are other people who experienced the exact same or similar abuse and grew up to be good people who fight that kind of thing or just live a normal life. So at some point, you got to go, you know, you make your bed, you lay in it, it's FAFO time. That's fine. But in the late 80s, there was this move towards, you know, pushing a higher level of rehabilitation and all that kind of stuff and really making that the focus of it. And a lot of it didn't work. You had a lot of, and the people who take advantage of it the most, and this is an interesting aspect of sort of the criminals that end up getting back out. And I think John Wayne Gacy, for all of, you know, any Chicagoans out there like myself, you can be very aware of it, that this guy sexually assaulted a 15-year-old boy violently and got out of jail, got half his sentence, you know, got his sentence cut. And was, you know, and then went on to murder like 30 boys. And the way he did it, the way he got his time cut in half on that first one, was he snowed everybody. He took advantage of that system. He looked at, okay, what do you got to say to get out of jail? And what, all right, what do you, like, anytime you come by, have a mop in your hand, all that kind of shit. That's it. Like, so, my feeling is you commit a violent crime, you're unrepentantly, repeat offender, that kind of stuff, like fucking lock them up and throw away the key. It's why I'm against the death penalty, because you can always be wrong. So don't kill people. And you can, you know, it's better to let somebody out of jail because they were found innocent after 25 years than to go visit their gravesite, period, end of story. The chance you can kill a single innocent person is reason enough to not have the death penalty. That's my feeling.
Because that's what's going on in America today.
And no, it isn't.
Yeah, well said.
No, it fucking isn't. There's like 3 DAs, they go after all the fucking...
Well said. All right, Lance, you had a question.
Yes. What's wrong with my face?
Yes, Judge, I had a question. I read something recently that Gorsuch had written, to your point, about the overreach of government, and I think we all ought to realize when a Supreme Court justice alerts the citizens that you are giving up your powers too freely, that is a real warning shot.
Yeah, because the Supreme Court, and especially the left-leaning side, has never warned about the overreach of government in extensions of authorized use of military force or things like the Patriot Act or anything. Yeah, nobody's ever brought that shit up. Gee whiz. Thank God Gorsuch is there to say, whatever.
And then if I could throw in another question, help us understand a little bit about what we can find in your book, because I understand you have...
Words, mostly. I don't know about the order. And I wouldn't say there's a cohesive argument, but
I have a new book out, and I want to make sure that we all hear about it.
yeah, that's what they were talking about, stupid. He referenced the book a couple times. Lanny, wake up next time, will you?
Well, first of all, I appreciate both questions. I want to address the issue of Gorsuch and his concern for religion. But it goes back several years to Justice Alito, who said that he was starting to see this prejudice against religion and the freedom of religion being cut back, and cut back. So the conservative justices are seeing that.
Yeah, because they were put on the court to do that very thing. I'm sure if you asked Amy Coney Barrett, she would say that all movement towards a woman's right to choose, period, end of story, is a movement against the life of the baby. Because that's how she was put there to, because she sees that. She was like, these are like, the Republicans tend to treat the court like Mad Libs. They just take a judge and just put it where in the gap where the word is missing. Which explains, by the way, Clarence Thomas's writing style.
Anyone in America during COVID saw it, because it wasn't just that Cavalry Church case that I talked about in Las Vegas.
Oh my God. It was every fucking thing. They thought they should get a special exception, and they didn't.
It was priests who were being arrested because they
were endangering elderly people by using the religious manipulative power that they have over their flock to convince them that it was going to be okay. You went from like 0 to snake handling in like 3 weeks.
Or celebrating mass to parishioners in the parking lot. I mean, this is out.
Yeah. Jesus, you can't even hear Jesus in a fucking parking lot. That was the thing about Jesus, is that he would only, I don't know if you've read the Bible, but he would only give his speeches, his sermons, inside in a controlled environment, with as little ventilation as possible. It was I don't know, something his dad told him to do, probably. I don't know, it's hard to even say.
Outrageous. It's unacceptable.
It's totally acceptable. It's completely acceptable. Can you watch, if you don't live anywhere near a mega church and one of these assholes, does anybody who watches those shows think that they're not actually participating in church because they're not there in the fucking building? That somehow their faith is less than the person that lives 6 fucking blocks from the goddamn place? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, this is... good Lord.
And that's why I wrote Crimes Against America.
You wrote it because they don't pay you enough at Fox, and they guarantee everybody a book deal on a rotation, because they have this, because Fox has a deal with the fucking publishers to get everybody there so that they can have something in the fucking pipeline so that they can turn their hosts into pundits and pundits into hosts and do this rotating bullshit.
Effort to take down our republic, because we are no longer a sovereign nation with laws. We are.
Okay, all right, nonsense. All right, I'm done. Like, I can't. At this point, at a certain point, it just becomes so fucking goofy that there's nothing even. Speaking of fucking goofy, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. I apologize for that. I think it's funny when the play button ends up right over their nose somehow. It looks like some sort of weird. It's like her version of the no hate pictures. But ultimately, this is we haven't heard from her in a while. She's been busy making an ass of herself on the floor. But hey man, don't you talk bad about my dream. I was going to say girl, but that word does not fit. It does not. I gotta be honest with you. She's I remember seeing this thing. They showed us this, I had a buddy who's in the service, and restaurants, he worked in a restaurant. It's a service industry. Anyways, he worked next to, I think it was, down there in Arkansas or something. He was by a reservation, and he had this native feller he's real good friends with. They work together, I believe they were chained at the leg during part of their compulsory service. Anyways, anyway, they were talking. He said one time he was telling him a story about how there's that his tribe has a way of describing women by using animals, kind of like them, Chinese got that thing where you're a rooster, you're a rabbit or something like that, but not a spiritual sense. Is based on the shape of their vagina. And there's like rabbit women, and they was like bird women, and then they had the horse women, which I think it's like he said he met one of them once, and they was fooling around, and she had her hand in his pants, and he put his hand down her pants. He said it was like having a horse eat a sugar cube. It was just maybe that's what he meant. But anyways, he was saying, and I was just like, every time I see her, I just can't I can't not think about that. Just weird. Anyways, I just wanted to show up and say hi, because she look, people don't take what she has to see serious. She's working hard. She's over at Newsmax, and she is fed up, okay? Y'all, she's fed up. She's effing fed up with government weaponization. Look at that. I am fed up with weaponized government. Yeah, she don't like it. She don't like it. Tell him, Madge. Come on now.
Thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate it.
She didn't come on. She's on. Come on, man. She's on the screen. Did you even think to invite her in there and smell her wonderful lavender?
Why is it that you support this bill? It's a massive expansion of government, and it keeps that in place.
Oh, man. Hey, listen here. She supports the debt limit because it raises we got to be able to pay our debts as a country, because part of the money that we accrued during the time that Trump was president was her PPP loans. She got a couple $100,000, man. What if we don't raise that debt limit and they go, oh shit, we got to patch this hole somehow. We got to claw back some of that money. Where's she going to be then? Rob shit, huh? What you want to do that to her? Well, you're going to have to deal with me first, son. You're going to have to. She got like pretty near $250,000 in PPP loans. They got to raise the debt limit. Come on. Think about it. Think, Rob. Okay? Think.
Well, originally I didn't support it. As a matter of fact, I don't support raising the debt ceiling.
But she's going to support raising the debt ceiling, which she does not do. Okay? Just to clarify. I want you to understand that. Okay? Some y'all do not understand. She doesn't support it, but she's gonna support it. Okay? Get that through your thick old skull.
And I don't support it because I wasn't part of the problem that created the debt.
Well, not completely true there, sweet cheeks. You are pretty near $250,000 towards that shit. Yeah. You all them loans they gave out, the people needed, you got one. You took out a big one. I'm just saying, you were. You didn't vote for it. You got it. That you can't. I'm just saying. That's like saying you ain't got no right to talk about the Constitution because you weren't there when it was signed. The fuck?
Proud to have voted no to all of these massive spending packages that have.
Yeah, that passed. That was great. She's real proud. She's very proud of that, folks. I'm so proud of standing up to that thing that happened anyways. This is the same kind of thing I run into whenever I pick a fight outside the Circle K. Or if I was at Piggly Wiggly out back behind a dumpster and some shit would pop off and I'm like, I'm gonna lay these boys out and get my ass kicked. And even though I didn't, I'm proud of myself for standing up before I ended up on my ass.
Put the American people in debt But the reason why I am supporting this bill is because it gives us a very special tool in the
Oh dear. Tell me about your very special tool.
bill to separate our appropriations into 12
That's oh, you can't spring reading on me like that. McCarthy Biden deal. Debt ceiling suspended until 2025. Caps on non-defense. That's French or some shit, ain't non-defense spending. Reskins unspent. COVID. I know that one. I saw that fucking everywhere. Funds. Well, where's the funds in that? Small welfare changes. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's not the size of your welfare changes. It's how you use it. Tiny cut to new IRS spending. It's not the size of your cut to IRS spending that matters. It's what you do with it. It loosens energy project permitting. How? Do they take GHB? I hear that loosens you up.
separate appropriation bills. And then we have to get it passed. If we don't get it passed, it
Yes, I'm the same way with cheese and fiber.
passes a CR at
All I'm thinking when I'm eating it is, I got to get it passed.
99% and gives the American people a 1% savings in the budget. But what's
Ooh, 1%. Bam.
important about the 12 appropriation bills is, Rob,
Yeah.
this gives us the tool to take down Joe Biden's weaponized
Is it a special tool, though?
government. And that is what I'm interested in, because the appropriations is where I've
Don't interrupt her, Rob. Excuse me. You do not interrupt my angel when she is bullshitting. Do not, okay? Rob Shit, if that is your real name. If it is, it's really good. That's really cool. If I was to have my name, I ain't told anybody my last name, but if it was shit, I'd keep it. Because you know why? I'd go, I'm the shit. And they'd go, yeah, actually, technically, that's true.
said all along, I'm willing to fight, because that's where we
Well, and by fight, she means legislate slowly through conversation or leg wrestle.
fund and defund government programs.
Both and neither.
I understand that, and I know that the McCarthy.
I don't think you do, okay? Did you not hear a word she said? She's doing things and not doing things at the same time. She is for stuff that she's not doing, and not for stuff she is doing, while not doing things and doing things at the same time. Am I the only one that can figure this shit out? Come on.
The amendment, the Massey amendment, that's how they got him in, so they got it out of rules with that coordination with him.
They sure did. And it passed, and now what? Then it goes up to the Senate, and they do a tweak or two, and then it comes back, and everybody pretends that it didn't change nothing, and then it goes and gets signed by what? Fucking tomorrow night.
How is that enough, though? I mean, McCarthy's been bragging that this is the largest budget cut in American history. But
yeah, but that's because the budget's bigger than it's ever been. So they's obviously going by sheer number, not percentages, because there's been other people are going to find out I like talking schmeconomics.
You know, every time I hear him say that, you want to scream, but it comes on the.
No, I don't. Every time I see her in a red dress with her big clamshell sleeves on, I want to scream, though. Hoo-hoo!
On the heels of one of the biggest spending hikes in history. The government is 40% bigger than it was just.
Boy, that reporter is short. Am I the only one noticing that? Is he only speaking? Does he like bring a podium with him, or only speak to? He insists that he will only speak to the press if they send their most diminutive reporters to him. Kevin McCarthy knows the value of appearing tall.
A couple years ago, and this doesn't cut it back anywhere near that much.
No, man, this ain't no sequestration.
So I feel like you're getting little.
Little what? Go ahead, say it.
Niceties in exchange.
Little niceties. That's what I call them. I like call her up middle of the night and go, hey, how about I roll on over there with a bucket of that big tin of caramel, cheese, and regular popcorn, which we don't touch, and a couple of moon pies, and we'll make our own version of crunchy s'mores. And then, of course, no graham crackers because they lower your sex drive, which sometimes I need to just get me inside the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Just calm it down a touch. Roll me back, and then I'll be over there with a box of wine, buddy, and 2 straws.
Change for just this massive expansion of government.
Well, Rob, here's the issue.
Yeah, Rob, here's the issue. You're a dick. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Let the woman say what she's doing to not do. She's fixing to not do.
Is I personally would love to do more. I really would.
That makes just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. You and I. All right, come on. Look at that. U.S. total spend 2018, 4.8 trillion. 2022, 6.3 trillion. Time passages.
Republicans are barely in control of
their bowels.
1/3 of the federal government. That's the reality.
That's right. So obviously, look, Rob, you're not taking into account that they have failed to convince the greater part of the electorate that they know what the fuck they're doing. So they can't exactly be the monkey wrench party until they have complete control over the entire engine.
We're in. I'm one of the people that ran for Congress because I truly wanted to change the Republican Party. I've been unhappy.
Yes, into something unrecognizable as a functioning party. A girl can dream.
With the status quo.
What 1/3 of the government? Say people, somebody in the chat saying what 1/3? They's half the House. So they's the half of the legislature. They actually, technically speaking, just a quarter. House Republican, just a quarter of the legislative side. Because they's the administration, that's Biden, that's Sleepy Joe and his basement brigade, man. Turning the Oval Office into a man cave. And then the Supreme Court, they're the judiciary, the judiciary, you know what I'm talking about. They dicking around over. And then the legislative is the Congress, and that's got the Senate and the House, and Senate is half Republican, half Democrat, and a couple of independents wiggling around there in the middle, trying to please nobody at the same time. And then half of the House is Democrats, and half of it's Republicans, and there's like a little wispy hairbreadth between the 2 of them. And so they only really got that little fucking corner where they can be lunatics. And she's part of an even smaller, she's part of a marginalized community, okay? Okay? She is a marginalized minority in this horrible America that we live in. I'm just saying. And of course, I don't mean it's horrible. I'm speaking ironically.
I don't like the way Washington runs.
Right.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, look, this brings to mind that old Groucho Marx quote. You know what I'm saying? I would never belong to a club that would have somebody like me as a member. And I think I get what Marge is saying here. Like, obviously, Washington is broken, or I'd have never gotten elected. She's humble that way. That's what I like about her.
But I am happy to have a powerful tool.
She seems happy.
That we can use to take down Biden's weaponized government.
I mean, that's why I wanted to speak to you tonight, because I know your politics. I know that you despise a government that spends itself into oblivion for future generations.
Yeah, she does. She hates it. She hates it. And she hates it so much, she's going to vote for it and hate it while she does it. Rob, listen. It's not what you do. It's what you hate while you do it that matters. Look, it basically, I don't know if you know this, not doing something bad is not as good as doing something bad while being ashamed of yourself. I hope.
So I was surprised to see this vote from you. And I think that the answer is, as sad as it is, there's just...
As somebody who ain't elected, look, Washington ain't that broke, Rob.
Not enough. Is there just not enough power? I mean, you guys passed the Limit, Save, Grow, I think it was Limit, Save, Grow, the Limit, Save, Grow Act about a month ago. You know, that was much more fiscally sound. Why not send that to the Senate and make this...
They did. They sent it to it automatically. Once they pass it, what the fuck do you think happens, dummy? And it didn't go nowhere. That's exactly what she was saying about getting what you can get. God damn.
Senate say no to that and put it in their court?
Well, Rob, I would love to. That bill is something that we are proud of. It cut nearly.
Yeah, you know what she could be more proud of? If it actually ever got implemented, which it won't. But that's something to be proud of.
$5 trillion in spending. Yeah. Oh, it was incredible.
It's an incredible bill. Who cares if it never became law? You know what I mean? I don't want to tell you guys, it's like, I don't like bragging, but I got Merle Haggard's autograph, okay? Now, it wasn't a real Merle Haggard, and it wasn't an autograph. This guy kind of looked at him, peed on one of my records. But to me, you know, it was, had it been actually his signature and not urine, it would have been so good. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You guys get what I'm saying?
I mean, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But
I loved it too. It had a nice beat. You could dance to it. Hooty-hoo.
The reality is that Chuck Schumer and the Senate won't do anything with that bill.
They won't do anything with it. That's not right.
He's already prepared with 60 votes to send a clean debt ceiling raise.
Oh, man. He already passed that shit over there. And all, like, you guys could, there's enough votes, if you guys dick around enough, that it could come back to the House, and you get enough scared Republicans, only needs about 60 of them come over and go, fuck, I can't let the whole thing fall apart. I'm going to lose my fucking business that I'm padding through my government contracts that I get thrown its way. I can't let the whole thing shit to bed.
To the House, along with a Ukraine supplemental, because Lindsey Graham is demanding more money for Ukraine. That's the reality.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham, he's basically 1/5 of the government himself.
Looking at in the House right now, Democrats signed a discharge petition that they can release a clean debt ceiling bill, and they only need a handful of Republicans.
I showed up at an emergency room once, and they was out of medicine, so they just gave me a discharge petition. Everybody there signed a petition that they didn't want to look at my discharge. I just went and rubbed some pine needles in it. That fixed it right up. I also had some fish tank cleaner that I put in my pee. Never mind.
So we are barely hanging on to an opportunity to pass the bill that actually does save the American people money. Not as much money as we had in our other bill, but it does have a saving.
I know you're saying words, but look at him. He's fucking confused. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what you're saying.
But it has a powerful tool. That's the tool.
I just like it when she keeps saying that.
That I really want, Rob. I am sick.
It's got a powerful tool she really wants. She's single, gentlemen, but not for long.
Sick and tired of the two-tier justice system. I am.
Me too. I think everybody should be weeping from both eyes.
Set up with the weaponized government.
Oh, terrible. I hate it. Especially when they put the grenade launcher on the EPA.
I am so tired of no one ever being held accountable. And
oh, terrible. She's been trying to get somebody brought before a court for all these high back chairs that make her look teensy, and nobody will even answer her fucking call.
Never anyone going to jail. And what we can do with this.
Well, that's about to be fixed. Don't worry about it. There's going to be some of them going to jail. Obviously, a bunch of them Jan 6ers just going to jail. And then, of course, Trump's going to go to jail. So, you know, I don't think that's what you want. I just think you need to be more specific when you're asking for stuff.
Tool that we've been given with Thomas Massey's CR plan and appropriations is we can use our appropriations because it'll be signed into law with 12 separate bills where we can do things like defund the FBI headquarters. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve
a new building that the Chinese and the drug cartels and the Russians can't spy on. Why would we want that?
Brand new nice headquarters
Damn it.
After they've been targeting pro-life activists and targeting parents at school boards. Merrick Garland's DOJ needs to be held accountable after.
Yes, you can count on that.
For the unconstitutional raid at Mar-a-Lago and how he's going after President Trump.
Well, a judge signed off on it. That's what the Constitution requires, both of the government itself and the state. So they had a regional judge from the area even do it. It wasn't like they could just do it by fiat from D.C. and that kind of stuff. They had to do it down there in Florida. Now, granted, considering how many Florida men I know personally, and I go down there every so often just to up the statistics, I would like, I don't know if the judges are are themselves, meth head alligator fuckers, but yeah, I would assume so.
Claiming all these classified documents, but yet in reality, Joe Biden is the one that has classified documents practically all over the country.
Right.
Yeah, I got some right over here. You know what? The NSA is lucky I can't fucking read very well, or I'd have been through both of those pages weeks ago.
As well as, and that's to say
so
the least,
as well as protecting
the president from corruption allegations as well. I know there's a lot there. I just
you can't mumble over her like that, Rob. It makes me angry. Okay.
On the financial side, it just feels like, and I think the best point you made was that there's just simply not enough power. The midterms were embarrassing for Republicans.
Yeah, I guess. So the idea is, and this is something we're going to have to deal with. Apparently, the midterms were terrible, and the Republicans had an embarrassing turnout. They were expecting a big turnover. Every time there's a new Congress, it turns over most of the fucking time. They were expecting a big version of it because Biden's all unpopular and stuff. And then they went and shit the bed and called it a pillow.
To say the least, to only have 4 or 5 seats is humiliating after what we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, it is, Rob, and it's interesting that you feel humiliated, just being, you'd think you'd feel that way just being on Newsmax, and I'm proud of you, man. Here you are, you on Newsmax. They got almost a different shirt for you almost every week. It's, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
You got to get more power. We have to win more elections. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. So what you're saying is, and this sounds like a crazy fucking notion, Marge, I wouldn't listen to him, but apparently this crazy motherfucker thinks that Republicans need to win more seats by convincing voters that they're the best choice before trying a bunch of crazy shit. The fuck out of here. That's nonsense. Who believes that shit?
Congresswoman, thank you so much for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
And who's in the seat next to you? Where the fuck is that? They got a little media room. Look, well, you can't see it. Hold on, I'll slide this thing over so y'all can look. Look at it here. Look, I thought she's in her office, and she's in this little room where they have cameras and chairs. She's like, move these 2 flags over behind me. I want fucking part of the American flag and Sweden behind me, or whatever the fuck that, Norway. I don't know what the shit that is. Something early pre-Betsy Ross, when Betsy was going through her bass player phase. Everything got to be simple, just a walking bass line. That's what she wanted for the anybody ever hear Betsy Ross's version of the national anthem? Just kind of they want no words. Just do. It was good because think about that before a big fucking NASCAR rally or a Super Bowl. Please rise for the national anthem. It'd be hard to keep your hand on your heart. It'd be like you'd want to get you swing on, just back and forth, just riding that shit. Come on. She was badass, man. And she was on an upright. I don't even know where they find the notes on them things. I'm lost without frets.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah. Did she say fuck you, Rob? I agree. Thank you, Marge. Stay pure up till I get there. Shit. Thanks, guys. I had to get that out of my system. Sometimes I have a hard time just handling some of those assholes, figuratively, without becoming a character, just because just because it's just, they say the same shit over and over again. And it's like sometimes we have to address it because they're going to say the one thing that stands out. Like, oh, okay, that's going to be the new talking point. That's going to be the thing that they're, you know, if you find them shopping a talking point or shopping an idea, and you got to be aware of it. So if you're going to have a rebuttal to it, you should be aware of your political opponent's argument, and you should be able to address it, right? So doing that. How does Ficus eat corn on the cob? One at a time. Come on. Hail Zoltan, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But I have to say, I think is this on here? No, I guess not. I have a Hal baby. You want Hal baby? I don't know if let's see. Hold on. Is he around? Let's see. Yeah. One second. Let me see if I can go. By the way, go back to here. And do we have any other? I mean, like I always have more clips, but you know, it's more of the same. We can go over to here. Let's needle drop on Trump in the dark, and I'll show you what I mean. Go ahead here.
The truth is, and there will happen to be somebody else also in addition to Ashley, but Ashley Babbitt was,
oh Lord,
a big supporter of everybody in this room, and by every.
The fuck are you talking about? She had a knife in her bag, asshole. Who's she gonna stab?
Account, she was an incredible person and a great patriot, and he.
No, she wasn't. If she was a great patriot, she would have honored our system, voted, and acted like a fucking decent citizen.
Shot her like just like he had no problem, and then they wanted to shield.
Like he had no problem. He didn't actually, because he had one job, which was to shoot anybody who comes through the breach. She was the first through. She got it. She's carrying a backpack with a weapon in it, and God knows what else, according to, you know, as far as that cop is concerned. Like, you want to let her through and then find out she's the fucking pipe bomber? Is that how you want to do it? Nobody else came through those fucking doors, did they?
Killed him, right? They want this, and he ends up on NBC, being interviewed on NBC because he was so proud of himself. He thought he was a big shot, and they ought to look at his past record. By the way, take a look at his past record.
Yes, of what? Just randomly shooting people who come in through windows?
Kim Reynolds for governor of Iowa.
Good. That's right. I hate to say it, without me, you know she was not going to win. You know that, right? I gave you a couple of them. Without me, they wouldn't have won.
And that's why I'm in a room with 12 people.
But I gave you.
Where was I before this asshole interrupted me? We'll needle drop in here, too. Just whatever the fuck. Oops. Stuck.
It's gone sick. And I don't like the term woke because I hear woke, you know.
Hold on. Oh, he's going to talk like big woke discussion. We're going to finally get this. I don't got to wake up. I'm going to have a nap. And then the people go, oh, you're woke. I'm like, I know I'm asleep. Hi. What was he saying?
About their children. And you talk.
That's what I'm worried about. My teacher tell me to do stuff I don't want to do, like stand in line and not take an extra muffin.
About changing gender and things where the child can make a choice, and the child.
That's already I don't really ask that very often. I asked if I can change seats because Tommy Robertson, he smell funny. That's the only thing I want changed. I would like to sit on the other side of the room because he keeps asking me to pull his finger.
Can be unbelievably young. The country has gone sick.
Maybe have, you know what we need to do? Take a whole America need to go to bed. Need to go to bed, America. And then while you're in bed, we'll put down the shirt like this, and we'll put Vicks Vapor Rub on the right heel, on this, and then get some ginger ale in a cup, and put a cup of ginger ale right by the neck to bed, and have a ginger ale and the Vicks Vapor Rub, which strangely smell kind of similar. It's like, I think, like if you really dilute Vicks Vapor Rub and make a soda out of it, it's ginger ale. Just a little bit.
It's gone sick. And I don't like the term woke.
It's gone sick. That's what happened to my fish. Mom said, the fish gone sick. He gone sick.
Because I hear woke. You know, it's like just a term that use half the people can't even define it. They don't know what it is. But you look at these things like
opposite of sleepy.
Women getting, you know, competed with, you know, men that were men and are men. And
all three. Some men that were men are still men. That's what my uncle says.
They're out there swimming and setting records. You see the record?
Yes, men are out there swimming and setting records.
That are being broken. Records that lasted for 19 years are being broken by, you know, 30 seconds. They're trying to win by a 16th of a second in swimming. On
he always tell this story or whatever. It's weird to me because I'm pretty sure I could kick his ass in kickball. I'm fairly certain I could dunk on him. And I'm 3 feet tall. I'm 3'1", not to brag. But I'm pretty certain I could, like, even in not flag football, like, I could, in Foursquare, totally kick a butt in Foursquare. I'll Foursquare his butt. I totally could.
One of the events, a 16th of a second. They're trying to win for years.
That's, yes, a 16th of a second. That's how long it takes him to see a woman and decide to touch her.
And a guy comes along and breaks the record by, you know, numbers that will never be broken.
Numbers that will never be broken. Except one. One is the loneliest number that you ever saw in the ever. That's just ridiculous. He's, I'd like to say for the record, that I want to scroll through. I don't think they, yeah. Did this end? It had to, okay. Oh, yeah. Let's try to find. This is, oh, shit. This is, you guys want to see the size of the room? You want to see the crowd? Oh, this is, now when I show you this picture, Trump will be to my far right, ironically enough, and your left, standing at the podium in front of a banner that says West Side Conservative Club. That's where he is speaking. Check this out. This is the gathering. Oh my God, CSL. And there's lots of room between the tables. And it's nice to see that he's courting the youth vote again. Dude used to brag about 65,000 people. Biggest rallies there's never been a movement like this in our history. And everybody's like, you think that's a movement? Yeah, isn't that amazing? Can we just enjoy that? Talk about a happy ending on a show. Holy shit. Yeah, there's a point to this where somebody's like going to raise their hand and he goes, yes. And she goes, can we just want to check. We're not going to have dessert. We, sir, this is a Bob Evans. That's, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think there's another shot of it. I think here's another angle. Wait, over here. This is the other side of the room. That's the whole side of the room. Burl Ives is leaving in a hurry. He's walking out. Yeah, it's like, it's a meeting of this at a diner. So look at the diner tables in the back and then the round tables over here. And there's the only people it looks like that are under 50 there are Secret Service. That's fucking amazing. And P.S. This guy is, and the fact that he has to do this time around, that he has to retail politic after being president already. Because this makes sense. If Donald Trump, if in 2016, if he showed up and did some of these kind of things in the midst of his big rallies, he was also doing these little things because he was like, I'm not above kissing babies and and people who have aged so much that they're basically babies. I mean, that's really impressive. Let me try and do something real quick. Hold on. Let's see if this works. I have 2 questions, and the first one doesn't count. Now, I voted for you the first time, but largely because they wouldn't give me pudding if I didn't. They kept. I was at the home. They had a nurse gathering up all our votes, and I was like, "You look like a Democrat. You're gonna take my vote and vote for those nasty, dirty Democrats." So I wrote a big R on there to make sure everybody knew what was going on, and it invalidated my ballot because it had a big R on it, and it said you can't. You just have to push the. So anyways, they gave me another one, anyway, and they brought it in there. And I made a paper airplane. I said, "Fuck you, fooled me once." And then, eventually, they brought me my 6th one. They're this crotchety son of a bitch. But 5 other people on the floor had died, so I just borrowed the paperwork and signed it on there. Wrote it down like that, and I was like, I voted for Trump, and then I wrote in Trump in every other race. I don't know if you know this, sir, but you are our comptroller. That's true. And quite frankly, there's a movement to impeach you because you haven't shown up for a goddamn day of work since you were elected. That's why I'm against big government. I think government should only be run by people under 5'2" that you could pick up with one arm. It's not too much to goddamn ask. Anyways, where was I? I was gonna. So I had a question, policy question. Why did I come in here? The biscuits. That's what it was. Biscuits. They put it on my shirt. I couldn't forget. I always had the nurse dress me in clothes to remind me of the task that I have to do for the day. And that helps me to remember anytime I pass a shiny surface or a mirror, I can go, that's what I was going to do. And so that's why they gave me one of those. They went to Spirit Halloween. They got me one of those poo emoji outfits for Fridays, because that's the day when everything moves. They give me as much coffee as I want, and then they clear the floor. Why did I come in here? I don't remember. Anyways, I plan on voting for you again. I'm going to leave comptroller blank. I'm not voting for anyone because I just don't feel like it's a job. We're fine. Our comp has been controlled the entire time, and no one's had to do anything. But I have a question. That my granddaughter, she's a first-time voter. She doesn't know. She's on the fence, as the boys like to say, and she has a question for you, and she would like to know, boxers or briefs? Which do you prefer to soil? I prefer briefs because escape is difficult for solid matter. At least captures it till you can get to the car. I'm not getting any of my questions answered. God damn it. Sorry, I don't know why I felt the need to do that, except for that's the crowd. There he is. That's so there, hold on, he's asking a question.
How long do you foresee it taking for you, after being reelected for the 3rd time, to...
For the 3rd time, because you won the last time.
Bring our country back in order. Yeah. And also, this idea, America, there's freedom and justice for all. We need justice for people that have been in prison since January 6th, who never did.
I agree.
Just is that a local thing or whatever? January 6th of what year, sir? I don't know if you know. We have one every year.
If you look at Antifa, and BLM and all.
I have to.
This where they killed people in Portland and in Seattle and a lot.
Yeah, rip Portland. Portland's gone. Well, rip Portland.
A lot of other places, Minneapolis. Nothing happens to these people. And then you look at what they've done to the January 6th people. They've destroyed them and destroyed their lives. And a lot of them didn't even go into the building.
No one who's on trial for January 6th didn't enter the building. Not a one. Also, you didn't even have to. You do realize some of them are going to jail, not because they entered the building. As a matter of fact, that charge was either dismissed or dropped, or they just didn't bother with it because the crime they committed of beating up a cop happened before they entered the fucking building, and the assault on those police officers is what allowed everyone else to enter the fucking building.
It was a disgrace. What's going on? That is a disgrace. That's going to go down in history ultimately. And Ashley Babbitt was killed, shot by, in my opinion, a rogue cop.
A rogue cop. He, give me your badge. You went too far this time, Harry.
He had no business doing that. He shot him.
He had exactly that business. He literally, his only business was to make sure that until they cleared all the Congress people out, no one get through that door. That's why it was fucking barricaded. She had no business trying to enter a barricaded door through a busted window with a crowd yelling, "Hang Mike Pence."
Her, unarmed, and...
No. If somebody's planting pipe bombs the night before and you show up with a fucking backpack and you climb in through a busted window when you have been told repeatedly to leave the premises, and you enter a premises you only entered after police were assaulted so you could make your way past them, fuck you.
Actually, people say she was trying to hold back the people that were pushing her forward.
No. She punched a dude in the face so she could be the first one through the fucking door. I'd show it, but the video shows her getting shot at this like seconds later. Anybody wants to go watch that shit, it's kind of amazing. There's another dude there. They bust the window. She slugs the dude so she can get through first. She's a fucking lunatic.
Ashley Babbitt was the one that was killed. She was the one that was killed.
And then Roseanne Boylan she died ultimately because of the drugs she was taking, but it didn't help that she was trampled by maggots.
And they like to say 5 people. That's the truth is. And there happened to be somebody else also in addition to Ashley. But
yeah, what's her name? What's her name? You look on the paper. What's her name? What's Roseanne Boylan's name?
Ashley Babbitt was a big supporter of everybody in this room, and by every account, she was an incredible person and a great.
No, the account where she broke into the Capitol with a bunch of people and was planning on murdering Congress people to reinstall you as a fucking dictator like Xi Jinping, and the violence that she participated in on that day and what she was calling for on her way there and the recording she made. No, by all accounts, fuck you.
Patriot, and he shot her just like he had no problem. And then they wanted to shield him, right? And he ends up on NBC, being interviewed on NBC because he was so proud of himself. He thought he was a big shot. And they ought to look at his past record, by the way. Take a look at his.
Okay, this is the same. Yeah, take a look. He said that exact same thing. He like repeats this like a tick. And then what does he say at the end here? Hold on. Let's see what
it was working so great. And then they just shut it all down. So a shame. But it's not 8 years, it's 6 months. And we'll be back in business, and sooner than that. And we'll be back in business, and those tractors are going to be spending a lot less money for their energy, and the food prices are going to start coming down, and a lot of things are going to start coming down. It'll be a beautiful thing to watch, and it's going to happen very quickly.
In 6 months? You mean before you even have a primary?
And I'm very experienced now. You know, it's not like I'm going in. Not like I'm going in and say, oh, this is a nice office. Is this the Oval Office? It takes you about a year to sort of say, can you believe this? This is the Oval Office.
What? Yeah. The guy who said on day one, I know all the smart people. I'm the only one. We're run by stupid people. I can figure this out faster than anybody else. I know, we could solve these things so quickly, but we wouldn't, and we can't because we have stupid people running things. Follows it up with, you spend the first year of your presidency going, is this the Oval Office?
I'm very experienced now. It's not like I'm going in. Not like I'm going in and say, oh, this is a nice office. Is this the Oval Office? It takes you about a year to sort of say, can you believe this? This is the Oval Office. I won't have to say.
No, it doesn't. No. Joe, for all the fucking old jokes about Joe Biden, considering he was vice president and how much sway he had while he was a senator, he pretty much knows what the rooms are in the White House at this point and knows why he's in that fucking room. And it doesn't take him a year to figure it out. A fucking year.
That we're going to do it very quickly. And I think within 6 months, you're going to see.
Yeah. The second time he's president, it'll only take him 6 months to figure out, is this the Oval Office? Fucking hell.
A major part of the comeback. Not 8 years. He'll stop saying that. Watch. He's going to stop saying that. Because if he needs 8 years to turn it around, he's saying, well, I'm going to, I can be. Let me tell you, I'll go 4 years. And if I do a great job, we're going to have a great Republican. Somebody is going to go another 4 years or 8 years. So it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't, really. Yeah, if I don't make it, it doesn't make any difference. And if I don't do it, then somebody will come in and we'll have a 4 or 8 or something. Or it'll be like normal because the country didn't need me up to this point, and it certainly doesn't fucking now.
But when he says 8 years, every time I hear it, I wince because I say, if it takes 8 years to turn this around, then you don't want him. You don't want him as your president. You ought to go to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th guys, but they're usually.
Is he talking about DeSantis? Look, the idea is that because senators get 6 years automatically, for you to have any lasting power as a president, you want to be a 2-term president. Single-term presidents at this point are an anomaly. They're embarrassing, and they happen on a schedule. It seems Carter to Bush 1 to you. But everybody else is getting 2 terms, largely because people are aware that the complexity and the size of a lot of the problems takes more time.
Polling at about 1%.
Like this asshole was when he ran, was going, I'm only going to do 4 years, and then I'm going back to business because I don't even have to fucking do this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, well, we'll do one more. Go ahead.
Final question.
Hi, President Trump. I just graduated high school 2 weeks ago.
Great.
Thank you.
And I've thought about politics more than anyone in this room.
And so my question for you is, since your last term in office, there have been a lot of attacks on education in terms of censorship and all of that. So I was wondering what your thoughts were on parental
You mean DeSantis's book banning and
control and that kind of thing within schools, school choice, and all of that. Education is very important to me, so wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
So
Thank you.
very good question. Congratulations, by the way. Good. Were you a good student? Were you good? Pretty good. Okay, just pretty good.
She just got a $180,000 scholarship, a naval scholarship to go to Yale.
Wow, she got a $180,000 scholarship, and it's great or whatever. And unfortunately, our country's going to hell. And by the time you start school, you're gonna there aren't going to be any jobs. It's going to be destroyed unless we make America. Unless he wins in a year and a half and change, there really is no hope.
Oh, wow. She's very modest. That's fantastic. That's great. Congratulations. Very big on school choice. Can you imagine we even have to talk about parental control and
No. Because no one's talking about parental control.
having parents get involved?
We're not having to talk. No one's shocked about people discussing parents having to get involved in school.
We have school systems that don't even want to talk to the parents about their children.
That's not even close to true. What you do realize that all of the shenanigans that have happened over the last couple of years have all been at fucking school board meetings where the schools Talk to the parents.
And you talk about changing.
Where, by the way, the parents elect the members of that board.
Gender and things where the child can make a choice and the child can be unbelievably young. The country has gone sick. It's gone sick. And I don't like the term woke because I hear woke, woke, woke. You know, it's like just a term.
Is this, are we watching, is this on a cycle? Did he do like 20 minutes and they just played it over and over
half
again?
the people can't even define it. They don't know what it is. But you look at, you know, records. You see the records that will never be broken. And I'm coach of a women's basketball team. I would have the greatest team. I'd say Liberalism, saying that is woke, but that's all woke. We have to bring common sense back into the country. You know, people say, oh, you're conservative. I said, yeah, I'm conservative. But more important is I'm a person with common sense. And so are the people in this room. And
yes, especially the guy in the back who says that people who beat cops nearly to death on January 6th have been in jail for no reason. It's just common sense.
Our country needs common sense back and leadership.
Read the disclaimer. Yes, there is a disclaimer. This video may contain potential allegations that might contradict and are not confirmed by CNN News 18. The channel that's putting it up doesn't want to get in trouble if he says something, which, by the way, they shouldn't have to even say, because of course not. It's a public event.
Yeah, we had great common sense for 4 years, and we produced the greatest economy.
Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget, thumbs up, share the show. Any interaction helps. If you're watching this later, you can say shit in the comments. I always do that. Tell me what you think in the comments. I see people doing that all the time, and I never ask for it because I figure you will if you will, and you won't if you won't. But whatever.
I rebuilt our military. I mean, the $85 billion was massive, but it was just a small portion of what.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're even worried about it.
We rebuilt.
Thank you.
It was a massive amount, but a small portion. But when you look at
it was a massive amount, but a small portion.
What we did at the border, when you look at what we did in every single aspect, even right to try, where we had for 58 years they've
Jesus
been
Christ. Is he just saying the same shit? Where does he end?
The people. And some people were becoming terminally ill because they couldn't get some penalty. They call it a quick trial. If somebody's selling drugs, they have a quick trial.
The fuck is it? Where has he?
How long do you foresee it taking for you?
Oh, yeah, so this is just like a fucking loop of this shit. Okay. Good Lord. You'd think they would have, if you're going to loop it, you would have chosen shit that actually had like a better quality to it. Thanks for being here, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. I stayed long, but I hope that's all right. I hope it's okay. Let's see. Tomorrow morning's show should be a good time. Obviously a lot going on, and I'm pretty sure the Senate's going to pass the House bill and it'll go back and get voted on again. If it hasn't already, I don't even know what the fucking schedule is at this point. But there's going to, I'm looking forward to all once it's passed, they can all claim either the victory laps or it's terrible and we should attack them now that it's done, so that they don't attack them and actually cause it to go down because they're actually for it passing, which is, like all of Hannity's clips are him passive aggressively trying to convince Fox viewers to be for the bill. Streaming channel loops. Okay, yeah. I figured they'd at least show the end of it, though. Fuck. Man. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to go check on my cat. See how Chud is. I will post a picture of her later. She's got her shaven wrists again. Gave her medicine a little while ago. She hates it. Like, here's my thing. I think she aspirated her food, so giving her a syringe in the mouth of a liquid medicine that she's just going to choke on or possibly aspirate as well doesn't seem to make sense. Like, I'd rather give her a shot, an actual injection. I'm pretty sure I could make that happen. But man, CNN 18 runs loop Trump speeches. I see. Gotcha. 3-4 times per week. Gotcha. It's kind of like the shit they do on InfoWars, where they play like this inverted rolling chunk of Alex Jones. I guess they figured you just fall asleep during it and wake up and it's still playing. Good Lord. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscribes. Thanks for all of our Patreon supporters. Bless you guys. You're the backbone of the show, and I appreciate it greatly. I hope you guys enjoyed the comedy jokes. And again, if I'm in your area and you're coming, I'm pretty sure going forward, like I know we're going to be back in Dallas at least 2 times this year. So all of the Patreon folks, if you're a Patreon subscriber, I can get you on a guest list for those shows for sure. Most of those shows we'll be able to do. And then, of course, you know, I look forward to seeing you guys at any of the Flapper shows or any of the places, whatever you'd like to come out. If I'm ever in your territory and I'm doing a show solo, especially, you can bring yourself and a guest if you're a Patreon subscriber at any level, and I appreciate it. We also have a Discord server that costs money. I don't know if people know that, but to have multiple servers and rooms and the different levels so that people have access to the different tools that are in Discord, it costs money every month. But I figured that was a way to get an interactive community. And if some of you are like, Jesus Christ, Twitter's awful, you're right. And the Houseparks Discord, if you want to join, especially the one that's for Patreon folks, is, you know, it's not quite a gated community, but it's, you know, you're definitely among like-minded, fun, upbeat people. So that's pretty cool. I will come to Florida. We are going to make it there. Don't worry. And thank you, Donna. Appreciated it. Appreciated it. Last night's show was weird, but it was good. It was a good time. Thanks so much. I'm going to go take care of Chud. And everybody else, take care of yourself. And then, gotcha.
When they gaze upon Yosemite,